Hey, what's up, everybody? I want to welcome you to another episode of the Dreamerspro Daily Recap, where we give you a recap of all of the hot topics that we covered that day. You can catch them in their long format and also catch it fully streaming for free on Apple Podcasts. As you guys know, the Lakers held their press conference 2 days ago, introducing JJ Redick as their new head coach. And with that came a plethora of questions surrounding his qualifications to be the head coach of the Los Angeles Lakers. And if you know anything about JJ Redick, he can be somewhat of a snob at times, the way he responds. He even used some profane language when he was responding to the critics out there, talking about, what are you out here to also try to prove some of your critics wrong? And he spoke in a way that turned off a lot of Laker fans who produced the show about this. But now that JJ Redick has now gotten the job to be the head coach of the Los Angeles Lakers, it comes with a lot of scrutiny, right? And a lot of people are digging up his past. And we're going to get to this in another video, depending on the order in which you're seeing these shows today. But there was something that we found today, our team unearthed today, Mitch, he sent to me. Now, in one of the shows that we're discussing, we're going to be talking about an alleged racial slur that he used against a black student back, I think when he was in college. But in this particular one, it was centered around a racial slur that he used that was targeted towards Chinese NBA fans. And it was an audio, to be quite honest with you, that was very, very hard to track down. So what happened was the following. The NBA put together like a compilation video of NBA players wishing Chinese fans, I think in China, a Merry Christmas. And they had various players, I think Whiteside spoke, Donovan Mitchell, he spoke as well. And then it came time for JJ Redick to also wish these Chinese fans, and he apparently used a slur, right? And this video was actually being reviewed by an Asian guy. And he was totally off put by what JJ Redick said. So he had to pause it and listen to it over and over and over again. So what we want to do is want to play this audio for you guys. We want you guys to listen to it carefully. We're going to put the subtitles there for you guys to read it. And then we're going to come back and really get into this thing. Take a listen to that there.
Ni hao, happy Chinese New Year.
Happy New Year to China.
Sing Young Carlo.
Happy New Year.
Happy Year to dogs, definitely.
Happy Chinese New Year.
Happy Chinese New Year. I'm Daddy.
Happy Chinese New Year to all my fans in China. Waini.
Ni hao, Xing Ling Kai Lu.
Happy Chinese New Year. Happy Chinese New Year.
Yan Kuala. Happy New Year.
Gong Hei Fat Choi to all my Chinese fans.
Happy Chinese New Year to all the fans in China.
Yeah, Happy New Year to all my Chinese fans out there, and I'm looking forward to getting to China.
I want to wish you all a Happy New Year. Twin here, Try Lu.
Happy New Year's.
Xin Chuan, Kuai Le.
Xiyin Kuai Le.
Happy Chinese New Year to everybody in China.
Jayo. China, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year and go Jazz.
I just wanted to wish all of the NBA fans in China a very happy Chinese New Year. I just wanted to wish all of the NBA fans in China a very happy Chinese New Year.
What?
All of the NBA fans in China a very happy all of the NBA fans in China. I wish all of the NBA fans in China. The NBA fans in China. The fans in China. All of the NBA fans in China.
What?
So you heard what JJ Redick had to say. And when the team, when we were looking at this audio, we're kind of going back and forth in our group chat. And I was like, well, it's not 100% conclusive what he had to say. So I then did a little bit of research, and it turns out this was actually a thing that JJ Redick himself had to publicly respond to. And we got this article from Tim McMahon, an ESPN staff writer. This article was published on October 5th, 2018. So the article starts off with the headline, Fans in China use polite booing for Sixers JJ Redick. Shanghai, Chinese fans booed Philadelphia shooting guard JJ Redick every time he touched the ball during Friday's preseason game at Mercedes-Benz Arena, harboring hard feelings for a racist slur he used several months ago. However, many fans applauded Redick's marksmanship as he scored 28 points on 10 out of 10 shooting in the Sixers' 120-114 win over the Dallas Mavericks. It was the most polite booing I had ever received in my life, Redick said. I mean, they booed and they cheered. It was like, we're mad at you, but we appreciate the way you're shooting the basketball. Redick was one of several NBA players to record a video wishing fans a happy Chinese New Year in February for Tencent, a Chinese media company and partner of ESPN. Redick stumbled over his words in the video, and it sounded like he used an offensive term in reference to Chinese people. Redick apologized in February, explaining that he was tongue-tied, and reiterated his remorse Friday, praising China's culture and energy. He said he expected to be booed and that Chinese fans are entitled to do so. The whole thing, it was a very unfortunate situation, Redick said. I'm just deeply, deeply remorseful for offending so many people. Redick, who is coming off of the bench to make room for Markelle Fultz in the 76ers starting lineup, said the booing did not provide him any additional motivation. He was simply in a spectacular shooting rhythm, his lone miss not counting because he intentionally launched a half-court heave after the buzzer at the end of the third quarter. I did take an extra dribble on purpose, even though it was a preseason game, but because I wanted to go 10 of 10 for the night, said Redick, who was 7 of 7 from the three-point line. This is very interesting to me. The reason that this is very interesting to me is because I was totally unaware of this. Totally unaware of this. I don't want to come to any conclusions about JJ Redick because I don't know him. However, this isn't a good look. It's not a good look. Because now we're seeing multiple incidents. Remember, there's a racial slur that he allegedly said against a black young lady that we're going to get to a little bit later. But now you have a situation where you have multiple occurrences taking place here. And that's not a good thing if you're a JJ Redick. It is certainly not a good thing. I pray for JJ Redick's sake that this thing doesn't grow legs. Because if it does, I'm telling you here right now, it is going to be a disaster of epic. It's going to be a disastrous situation, not just for JJ Redick, but for the Lakers as well. Why? Because the Lakers just hired another coach. Can you imagine what the blowback will be if we find out that these things were actually true and the Lakers just hired their 5th head coach in the last, 7 years? Or you're now going to be looking at it's 8 years or whatever it is, and you're now going to be looking at a situation where there may be pressure to have him removed from that. I just hope that this story doesn't grow any legs for his sake. Because, at first when I heard the audio, I was like, well, it wasn't very conclusive to me. It wasn't conclusive. But then when I stumbled upon the ESPN report, then it made me say, okay, well, why would I apologize for something I never said? That's the way I'm viewing it. Why would one apologize for something they never did? So to me, man, this is very, very disturbing. The Asian gentleman that was reviewing what JJ Redick had to say seemed to be very, very offended. And we just thought that this was some this was some breaking information that we thought we'd share with the audience. Excuse my countenance. I just read something that, frankly, didn't sit well with me. So we want to get into the subject matter. You already read the headline of this video. In today's show, we want to react to some accusations that have been levied at JJ Redick, because apparently he used a racial slur against his ex-girlfriend a number of years ago, and he apparently denied it. I don't even know where to begin. So I guess we'll just start from here. I want to read from an article that we got from Black Sports Online. And it has the following headline. JJ Redick's ex claim he called her the N-word with the ER and another word in an email. And he has the photos, and she provided the photos. And the article says, Los Angeles Clippers sharpshooter JJ Redick is still feeling the effects of a 2007 document he and ex-girlfriend Vanessa Lopez signed, in which he said she had decided to have an abortion. Good Lord. JJ Redick has always said Lopez had never been pregnant with a child fathered by him. If that was the case, why was he so clearly upset at her? Check out the emails JJ wrote to Vanessa Lopez. The emails may or may not include in a book currently being shopped by Lopez. So if you look at this image that we want to hold up for you, it has a date, Thursday, October 2007. From jredick4@mac.com to Chanel Lopez at hotmail.com. Forward response. He's responding. Says sent out Wednesday September 26, 2007. And it goes, Greg, my brother-in-law left her a voicemail calling her a dirty N-word. We've got problems if that stupid bleep leaks it. What the F can we do? JJ. So that's what that email said there. I now want to get into JJ Redick's apology. Denial, because he actually ended up denying. So let me get into this article here. It's from Complex. It says, JJ Redick denies black woman's accusation that he called her the N-word to my face at Duke. Continues on. JJ Redick has denied calling a black woman the N-word while he was a student at Duke University. On Tuesday, Halima Nash posted a tweet where she recalled a time on campus when Redick allegedly threw a racial slur at her. According to Nash, she was working at Duke's men's basketball team when Redick called her the N-word. I've only been called the N-word to my face by a white man once in my life, and it was on the campus of Duke University while I was doing work with the basketball team, Nash wrote. And today he was named the new head coach of the Los Angeles Lakers. What a world. And then JJ Redick, I believe, his camp responded and denied everything per a TMZ report saying, no, it never happened. So apparently we have multiple situations here. We have an ex, and then we have this situation here. What do I think about all of this? First of all, I am deeply disturbed by everything that I am reading. I am deeply disturbed by all of this. To be totally frank with you. I don't know what is going on. I don't know what is going on here. But that email was damning. That email was damning. Then you have a situation where I think a female staff member who was working at Duke, Halima Nash, she accused him of that. Then you have the situation with the agent slur that he apparently used, in which he even apologized via ESPN report when he was booed. When he was during his time as a Philadelphia 76er. I you know what? I don't know what to think about all of this. Because to me, it's not conclusive yet. Now, if this information was conclusive that, he in fact did this, then we have a serious problem. A very, very, very serious problem here. This can't go unchecked. I don't believe in hate towards any group. Any group. I don't believe in hate towards Hispanics, African Americans, Italian Americans, Jews. That's just not me. I'm not into hate. I'm not a hateful person. I don't have any kind of racism in me towards any. It's just not me. I was never raised like that. And maybe some people watching this want me to take a particular position. Hey, call them a race. I'm not doing any of that because I don't get a kick out of doing stuff like I just don't. So I hope none of this is true. But if it is true, it's a very big problem and something needs to be done about it immediately. There needs to be a correction that takes place immediately. And if this thing turns out to be true, it is going to be a disaster for the Los Angeles. Like, it is going to reflect poorly on them. What the issue will be is their vetting process, that they didn't do their due diligence. Because if we have a situation like this, in which is true, and you heard what Chris Broussard said, he better not be lying. Because if he is, this is damaging. I pray for his sake that this is not true. But now we have multiple instances with these type of things, and it's all along that same line of racial stuff. That's a problem. Because if it is true, he's already lost his locker room. It's over. It is absolutely over. And it needs to be made a bigger deal, as they did with that Kyrie Irving situation. Because hate is hate. They tried to say Kyrie Irving was hateful and all of that. Well, Kyrie, all he did was put out a tweet. Here you have situations of people alleging that he said particular things about them. So it needs to be attacked with that same fervor that they did Kyrie Irving. And the first person I would expect to stand up and say something is LeBron James with his hypocritical ass. Because LeBron threw Kyrie under the bus and put it in reverse and ran over him, saying that you can't have situations like that when you say those type of things. That's what LeBron said, speaking against hate and prejudice. He better be the first one to stand up. You better not be mute on that situation. As you guys know, there's some pretty nasty things being alleged against JJ Redick, right? Where people are essentially saying that, look, a lady saying that he used a racial slur against her. Depending on the order in which you're seeing this show, we actually produced another show where we were reacting to an old audio of JJ Redick apparently using a racial slur against Asians. And then he later had to come out and apologize via ESPN report. And we produced this show not too long ago. Obviously, depends on the order in which you're coming across these shows today. So what happened? This morning, I tuned in to Fox Sport Radio, one of my favorite shows on there, The Odd Couple with Rob Parker and Chris Broussard. And Chris Broussard was there today, and he was reacting to this report about these racial slurs that allegedly JJ Redick used. And Chris Broussard said something quite interesting after unpacking the background of the story. He then goes on to say that it better not be the case. It better not be the case that JJ Redick is lying, because he did release a statement that Chris Broussard actually said. And he said that if we find out that JJ Redick is actually lying about saying these things, because he has denied it, it is not going to end well for him. So those are the comments that we want to anchor in on. So what we want to do now is we want to play exactly what Chris Broussard had to say in response to JJ Redick in terms of this warning that he gave him, because he gave him a serious one. And then we're going to come back and react to what Chris Broussard had to say. Take a listen to this here.
The headline reads, JJ Redick denies calling woman N-word. Now, TMZ reached out to JJ's camp, and here's what they were told. It's a direct quote in the story. It reads, "No, it never happened." That's it. It was short and sweet. The way TMZ described it, they said, "We reached out to Redick's camp for a response to the claim, and they completely shut it down." Now, I did a little digging. I did not talk to this woman, but I did do some digging. I was, as Rob G knows, I was trying to get her on the show because I do want to kind of, this is obviously a huge claim, and want to get her on the show to talk about it, verify if it's true and her account wasn't hacked and things like that. From what I understand, she does not want to do any media. We'll see if she keeps that going. But and from what I understand, Martin, she was surprised at how this thing kind of snowballed. And the reason we didn't even lead the show with it was because we just wanted to kind of make sure this thing, that was really accurate before we dealt with it. But now JJ Redick's camp answers it and they deny it. And here's what I'll say to that, Martin. And I don't know if Halima Nash will come out and speak to it. But what I will say is that JJ Redick better not be lying, or whoever spoke for him better not be lying.
Yeah.
Because it'd be bad enough if you did it. But you can, it was, if it had happened, I will say that because he's denied it. It would have been 20 years ago, something like that. You could, maybe survive that.
I think there's a path to reconciliation.
Right. That was so long ago. Obviously, he's developed good relationships with African Americans. Now, the one thing is not like he didn't know any African Americans at Duke, not like he hadn't been playing with black players much of his life, as a top great high school and college player. But I agree with you that, it's 20 years ago. If it wasn't a pattern and something your behavior at Duke and after that would have to line up with somebody that is not racist and somebody who was remorseful if indeed they did that. And you could perhaps survive it. The one thing that would possibly nail him if he had done it and apologized for it, Martin, would be if players just weren't feeling you because of it. And obviously you need black players. And if they weren't feeling you, how they reacted to you would be an issue or could be an issue. But if it comes out and look, you got two people making claims. I don't know who's right or who's telling the truth, but I'm just saying JJ better not be lying. Because if it comes out, like I said, it would have been bad enough, but then you deny it, that very well might cost him his job.
So you heard what Chris Broussard had to say. Look, this isn't the type of press that you need, especially if you're a person, this JJ Redick. Why? Listen, a lot of people have been saying JJ Redick is a basketball savant, fantastic, but there are other things that people are saying about JJ Redick. A lot of people think that he's very arrogant. He's very dismissive. They don't like the way that he spoke about generations from the past. You heard the things that he had to say about the era in which Jerry West played for. And it's interesting, the Lakers still went ahead and hired him anyway. That's interesting. And a lot of people are also saying that they don't believe he's qualified to have that Laker position. And one person that recently said that was basically James Worthy with an audio that was released yesterday. We published a show about it where he was just basically saying that this is going to be another 2-year hire. So there are these things that are being said about JJ Redick, but none of them are on the level of a story like this. And I agree with Chris Broussard. It better not be the case that JJ Redick said these things, because I don't know JJ Redick. So I can't say he did or he didn't. I don't know him, and I'm not going to say that because I'm not a private eye. I'm not an investigator here. If it comes out that he did in fact say it, then I'll say it. Until then, I don't know. But if it turns out in fact that he did say it, it's going to be a horrendous situation for JJ Redick and the Los Angeles Lakers, because then it'll bring into question what type of due diligence did the Los Angeles Lakers do in the first place? What is the due diligence process? Don't you vet these people that you're looking to hire? Especially with a position like that, especially given the fact that you guys had just fired in the last 10 years 4 head coaches. Wouldn't this be something that you would ensure that, hey, listen, we cross our T's and dot our I's, that we make sure that everything is 100% green lit and good to go? Listen, I agree with Chris Broussard. Personally, I'm praying that none of this is true. I'm praying that none of this is true because I don't take pleasure in seeing people's downfall. Because if this is true, it is going to, number one, it's going to be the biggest story in the NBA. And it's going to bring a whole lot of negative press that the Lakers just do not need. And if it is true, I don't see how I don't see how they're able to retain JJ Redick as a head coach. I don't see it. I don't see it. Remember, Donald Sterling lost his team over a recording. So if we find out that in fact JJ Redick is lying about what that lady alleged, is going to be a very, very, very messy situation.